All right, so we're going to use the same formula, and we're just going to do these two problems. They're similar to some of the problems above, so I'm just going to work through them and just kind of give you the opportunity to work through them yourself, and you can just kind of monitor if you're on the right track. We're going to follow the same steps, but like we're going to be finding different things depending on what the directions are asking for. So, last, first, number, and difference. All right, so the last, we don't know. The first, we know is 8. The number is 50, and the difference, all right, is -3. So then, we don't know this. We're looking for the 50th term, what its value is. So 8 plus 50 minus, 50 minus 1 times -3. All right, and again, I'm just going to use my calculator for most of this. 8 plus 49 times -3. All right, so if we keep going down by 3, when we get to the 50th term, the number is going to be -139, okay? All right, and then the other one, the arithmetic means, so last, first, number, and difference. The last term is -13. First term is 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and remember, we don't just want the difference, we want to use the difference to plug in the blanks. So -13 equals 11 plus 5 minus 1 times d. -13 equals 11 plus 4d. -24 equals 4d. So the difference is -6. So we just want to take 6 away, starting at 11. So if I take 6 away, I'm sitting at 5. If I take 6 away, I'm down to -1. Take 6 away, down to -7. Take 6 away, and I'll be at -13. Okay, so that's just, no matter what you're being asked, just plug in 3 of the pieces of information, find the 4th. So it's just a bunch of formulas, okay? So speaking of formulas, that is actually, we're going to use a different formula for this next part because the directions have changed just a little bit. And once again, these formulas are on your formula sheet. And I copied them. So your formula sheet is right here, and these are the formulas. We're talking about arithmetic right now. So the formulas, I actually don't use all of them. I just use certain ones. So those are the ones that I'm writing up here that we can just keep referring back to. All right, so the reason why it changes is because now the directions say find the sum, okay? And sum, we know that sum means to add everything up. Okay, so all it really means is you know how to find the list. You know that a sequence is just a list of numbers. So the sum just means you take that list and you add them all up, okay? And you could do that by hand. Some students like to do that. But really there's a formula that we'll just plug into that will add it all up for us, okay? And again, we're just going to list the parts of the formula, figure out which one is missing, and then use the formula to solve it, okay? So on your formula sheet, the formula for sum is S sub n. Again, S stands for sum because we're adding it up. N divided by 2. And then the first term plus the last term. Okay? So it's very similar to the parts that we already know, but you add the beginning and the end, and then you average your terms, okay? And then you multiply all of that up. So I got that formula straight from here. Again, you know most of what these mean. So let me put a cloud around that so that you can find it easy. Maybe put it like right here so that you can refer to it easily. I just wrote it a little bit bigger so that we can see it. So this stands for sum. So because the directions say sum, that is why we're using that, okay? And there is a notation. This is a notation. That means sum to help us also remember that's the formula we're supposed to use. We know that that stands for the number of terms. That marker isn't great. And then we know that this stands for the first term and that this stands for the last term. Okay, so we know all of those pieces. Again, we're just going to list and then start answering the question. Just use the formula. So in this case, we're asking, okay, the sum, the number of terms. I just go in order of the formula. And then that helps me find out which one we're missing. So the first term is 4. The last term is a sub 50, which must be the last term, is 254. And then it also tells us, and I could have gotten it from here, that there's 50 terms, that n is 50. So we just want to use the formula to find that sum. So the sum equals, this is a little narrow for me to fit it in, but that's okay. 50 divided by 2 times 4 plus 254. 4 plus 254. Okay, so I just plugged in n to the formula, the first term, and the last term. So that is really 25 times 258. And all I did was divide that and add that. So 25 times 258 is 6,450. So the sum, and let's say the sum of the 50 terms. So after we got our list, we're adding all of those numbers up. That's why it's so big, 6450. Okay, that's why it's such a big answer, because not only is it the list, so not only is it the first number and the last number, it's all the numbers in between and added all the way up. So that's why it's in the thousands now. Okay, all right, so let's follow the same approach for this one. And I'm probably going to write it down and then erase it. That way I can fit it in. Hopefully you can fit it in with your pencil. So let's first, actually, let me do it this way. The sum, the number, the first term, and the last term. Maybe that'll help give me a little bit more room. So it says find the sum, so that's what we're looking for, of the first 55 terms. So that's how many we have. The first term is 2, and the last term we don't know because it just keeps going. But we do know something else. So this actually will take a little bit more room. So we also need to find this, but we need to find this first, okay? And if you think back, we already know how to find this. Let me use a different color, okay? We actually can use the formula we were just talking about. The first term plus the number minus 1 times the difference. So if we go back to this formula to find that number, then we can plug it in to find this one. So we know that we want to find what number the 55th term is. The first number is 2. We have 55 total, but if I take one away, that's 54. And we do know the difference. What is that increasing by? It's increasing by 5. Okay? All right, so if I just plug all of those in, I will get 2 plus 54 times 5. Okay, I get the number 272. So if I step back for a second and use the formula we've already been using, I'm going to put 272 into my sum formula, and then I'll be able to find it out, okay? Hold on one second.